What's going on, family? This is not financial advice. Do your own research. When it comes to the stocks you choose, man, we giving out free game for you. Man, Netflix is down negative 35% on the day. This thing is on a tear, man. And Netflix is dropping because of one reason and one reason alone: the content. They need to update their content. The movies are old. There are other streaming platforms that have better content, and streaming is all Netflix does. So their earnings have made them take a dive. So they lost plenty of subscribers, um, and I think they're down. They're gonna come down some more for sure, no doubt in my mind. So I want to play this video for you guys. I find this is interesting. I was just talking about streaming platforms and such.
of Thrones, or you need all Squid Games, or you need all Stranger Things. Obviously, things like Tiger King did really well. Netflix needs content that breaks through, that enters the zeitgeist, the crown. You can go through all of the titles over the last 7 or 8 years that have done that. If you look back over the past year, it just feels like, relative to the spend, $17 billion of spend, it just doesn't feel like the hit ratio has been high enough. And especially not just on the TV series, on the movie side, they're clearly not getting the return on the movie spend. Probably 5+ billion of that 17 is on movies. It just isn't getting it done. And so they made a lot of excuses. I think the content success and the content hit ratio, it's not spending too much. It's honestly the titles are not landing with the level of success they need to, given the rising level of competition that Sarah correctly spoke about earlier.
Sarah, just listening to that, I was thinking, wow, you really don't need to think a lot about sports and content. So no wonder it's so valuable, I guess, because it is. Rich struggled to find like 5 game changers. That's a bad omen when you're groping and you came up with 5 finally, but it wasn't easy. So can you imagine? Just because it's, and you said it, just because it's 17 billion doesn't mean there's a crown in there, does it, Sarah? You've got, I guess, hire the best creative minds in Hollywood, again, about content.
Yep, that's right. And notice that a lot of those series that were mentioned, Bridgerton, Ozark, these are now in their subsequent series. We haven't had a new hit come out in a really long time. I would argue that another problem is actually the user experience. When you log on to Netflix, there is so much content. There is so much that you can be wading through. It's a little bit overwhelming. And from a marketing perspective, to me as a consumer, it's not as clear and distinct what what Netflix is investing in versus services like HBO. You look at Netflix, when you see that little red N for originals in the Netflix corners, to me, that's a signal of a sloppy Netflix original that's just going to be a ripoff of some, cheesy pay TV thing that they're doing for scale. When you see an HBO Max original, it is a signal of quality. And so I think Netflix needs to figure out, one, how are they going to increase the frequency of hits, not just relying on new subsequent seasons, but then two, how do they reputationally become a platform that's known for producing quality the same way that HBO Max does for adult and teen content, the same way that Disney does for family content? They do not have that reputation, and it's going to continue to bite them down the line, especially to Rich's point. Outside of some of the big guys, other streaming platforms are coming in and they're starting to invest heavily. It's going to continue to get more competitive unless they kind of break through here.